Rick Yvanovich has traveled the world and has left indelible marks across industries, from supermarkets to tech, and from breweries to property development. Rick is a quintessential British techie and a beacon for baby boomers everywhere who proves that passion doesn't wane with age. With over 4 decades of experience in the UK, China, Singapore, Switzerland, and Vietnam, Rick brings a treasure trove of insights into the business world. First landing in China, as a finance manager for BP, and later making waves in Vietnam since 1990, Rick stands as possibly the longest standing Brit and one of the most seasoned expats in Vietnam. Not just a serial entrepreneur, Rick is a fellow of the Chartered Institute Management Accountants, CPA Australia, a chartered global management accountant, and holds an MSc in strategic business management. But Rick's contributions don't end there. He's a pillar in the business community as treasurer and board member of BritCharm Vietnam, vice chair of the AmCham HCMC ICT Group, and a guiding force in various other prestigious roles. An avid supporter of the SEMA and a vocal advocate for digital transformation and project management, Rick is on a mission to foster growth, knowledge, and innovation wherever he goes. And before we start the episode, a quick word from our sponsor, Deep Wealth and the Deep Wealth Mastery Program. Here's Bill, a graduate, who says the Deep Wealth Mastery Program has transformed the KPIs we're using to accelerate growth and profits. Or how about Emery, who says, and I love this, and I quote, the Deep Wealth Mastery Program helped me create the right mindset for both growing my business and later my future exit. I now know what questions to ask, what to do and not to do, which is priceless. The team and I have found dangerous skeletons and gaps that we're now addressing due to the Deep Wealth Program. Today, our actions have a massive ROI. Absolutely love that. And now, speaking of growth and adding value, check out what Bruce says. And I quote, as a business owner, I'm always looking for new programs, systems, CEO peer groups, and strategies to improve my business. Hands down, the Deep Wealth Mastery Program is the absolute best. I'm both growing my business and preparing for a future exit at the same time. It doesn't get any better. And I got to tell you, as I hear these testimonials, this is exactly why I do what I do. My mission, the team's mission here at Deep Wealth, is to literally change the social fabric of society, one business owner at a time and one liquidity event at a time. The Deep Wealth Mastery Program is the only one based on a 9-figure deal. And that deal, that was my deal. You know my story. I said no to a 7-figure offer. I created a system that we now call Deep Wealth Mastery, and that's exactly what helped myself and my business partners welcome from a different buyer, a different offer, a 9-figure deal. So if you're interested in growing your profits, preparing for a future liquidity event, whether that's 3 years away or 33 years away, and if you want to optimize your post-exit life, Deep Wealth Mastery is for you. Please email success@deepwealth.com. Again, that's success, SUCCESS, at deepwealth.com. We'll send you all the information about the Deep Wealth Mastery Program, otherwise known as the Scale for Ultimate Sales System. Better yet, why not hop on a complimentary strategy call? We'll see where you are at your business and what's standing between you and your financial independence and your dreams. So that's where you want to be. You want to be with other successful business owners, entrepreneurs, and founders just like you who are looking to create market disruptions. Whether you're a startup, whether you've been in business for 3 or 4 decades, whether you're manufacturing, whether you're high tech, SaaS, low tech, whatever the case may be, come on in and network with other business owners, with other businesses just like you, because they all want to lock in their financial freedom and enjoy both success and fulfillment. Again, the 90-day Deep Wealth Mastery Program, it has your name on it. All you need to do is take the next step. Please send an email to success@deepwealth.com. Welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast. Well, you heard it in the official introduction. We have a fellow entrepreneur, a thought leader, an author, and today it's all about extracting your personal and business deep wealth. And let me ask you something. I know the pandemic is way behind in the rearview mirror as it should be, but are you thriving or are you still surviving? Are you questioning, how can I get to a better place? Even better before the pandemic. Maybe the pandemic's had you down a little bit. Well, today it's all about having you not just survive, but let's put the survive out the window. Let's thrive in your own, pun intended. You'll know what I mean when we get a little further into the interview here, but in your own castle. So we're talking about castles and towers and dungeons and all those other things that go along with that. So Rick, welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast. An absolute pleasure to have you with us. And there's always a story behind the story. So, Rick, I'm curious, what's your story in terms of what got you from where you were to where you are right now today?
Thanks for having me, Jeffrey. Now, before we start and before I answer your question, I'd first like to share a core belief that I hold pretty dear to me. And that is we all have the potential to be architects of change. In this era that we're all apparently living in, it's defined by constant transformation. And our task isn't not just to keep up, but it's to actively shape the path forward. So from stacking shelves and the learning the ropes of people management as a trainee in a supermarket, to then immersing myself in the precise world of accounting, I'm a bean counter, and later navigating that constantly evolving landscape of technology and humans, my story, my experience demonstrates the power of transformation and continuous learning and the significant impact that each one of us can make. And every day, our actions, whether they be big or small, they actually shape our future. And as we dive into our discussion today, Jeffrey, I want everybody listening in to remember this. You are your brand, and every single decision that you make is part of the unique story that you are crafting for yourself. How you react, how you adapt, and how you innovate in the face of all of this change will define your story and your legacy. Now, this belief inspiring each of us to aim for consistently higher fulfillment is the cornerstone of my work. It's actually my life purpose. So as we dive into our conversation today, Jeffrey, let's not just think about adapting to change, but about how we can define it. After all, when we embrace the unique qualities that we all have and we strive for personal growth, we're not just participants, but we're catalysts in our ever-changing business as unusual world. Okay, so let's get started, Jeffrey. Now you asked me, what's the story behind the story? I gave you a bit of a story there. The story, where did I really start off? Well, I started off failing to get into university, and I ended up working in a supermarket stacking shelves. I then moved on into that world of accounting. It was a long time ago. I can't even remember why. I suddenly decided one day I want to be an accountant. I don't even know if that happens, but I obviously did. And I just worked my way up the accounting ladder. And then at a point in time, I put my hand up and took a redundancy package and retired. That was about 30 years ago. And started up my own company, which we celebrate 30 years this month.
Congratulations, 30 years. That is quite something. You have really been out there for a while. Rick, let me go back for a moment because it's interesting with your journey from what you were doing, what you wanted to do, couldn't do it, to where you got today. Growing up, Rick, I'm curious, growing up as a child, were there any experiences or family background or just outlooks on life that were imparted to you that have you look at the world the way that you do today? Because lots of people talk about what you talk about, very few write a book about it, take action about that, go out there to make an active change, but you're doing that. So I'm curious, what's behind that?
Oh, great question. Really great question. What I learned growing up was that you have to work hard. It's the mantra. So I'm giving you a TED talk in a few months, and that's part of my hook is this mantra of working hard. Because I've always believed, and it's been schooled into me, learned into me, beaten into me, working hard is the solution. So if you get a C in a test, well, you obviously didn't work hard enough. Work harder and you get an A. If you didn't get into university, well, obviously I didn't work hard enough, so I need to work harder. When I plunged into my accounting exams, well, I've got to really work super hard. So it literally took me 5 years, every night, every weekend, no holidays, 5 years. Yeah, I got it. No problem. So wherever I see a problem is, yeah, I'll outwork everyone else and I will get through it. That's why the company's been around for 30 years.
So I'm
That ain't
hearing
gonna
about
die on
grit.
me.
Yes, your grit, your passion. I can certainly relate to that. And so, Rick, with that in mind, okay, work hard, know what you want, have your eye on the prize. Don't let setbacks get in the way. I've very much followed that playbook. And putting myself under the microscope, Rick, there were times where that grit and passion, as an example, with my e-learning company, Embonet, the one that
Mm,
went on to have a
mm,
nine-figure exit,
mm, mm,
that's exactly what was required when things looked dismal, depressing, actually very dark.
mm,
Everyone around me saying, Jeffrey, just quit this thing and get the job, like your MBA
mm,
friends, and go work for a company. You're a smart guy. You'll be better off that way. You'll be happier. I just had this burning desire to go and make that happen. At the same time, Rick, when I've been in other situations and that grit and that passion has been applied, I keep on moving forward when in actuality, I should have quit because it just was the wrong path. I didn't pick up on the signs. I would just brainwash myself. Well, Jeffrey, you always got to be victorious. You've always got to be out there, burning it at both ends, getting that done. And it's always a balance because quitting too early, you miss out on what's rightfully yours that you've worked so hard, you never realize. Sometimes, though, not quitting early enough can hold you back from getting to where you want to get to. So it sounds like we're very similar. We're cut from the same cloth. How do you deal with that? How would you respond to that of when is the time to quit in a way that we don't feel like losers or quitters? It's actually the winner thing to do because we're quitting at the right time, at the right place, doing the right thing.
That's a great question. I'm going to pick up on that last point is when we feel like quitters or losers, there's another way of categorizing myself and my coach. I obviously have several coaches. My coach had to tell me this. And he said, Rick, you're a hyperachiever. You're an
Mm-hmm.
overachiever. And I go, no, I'm not. I haven't achieved very much. He
Mm-hmm.
goes, really? Really are? I said, no, 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 I haven't. Go and tell your family, okay, and see what their reaction is.
Mm-hmm.
So next day, when we're sitting around the dinner table, I said, oh, yeah, I was speaking to my coach, said, and he said, I'm an overachiever, but, a hyperachiever, what a load of rubbish, right? And they literally sort of fell over on the floor laughing. What, I've achieved stuff? Really? And they go, well, Rick, company's 30 years old. It's got hundreds of people. You've got thousands of, all these things that are there. Going back to that quitting thing
Mm-hmm.
is if you have that mindset, you just don't give up. Giving up is not an option. And if I have that mantra, yeah, obviously, if things are not going well, that business is going down the toilet or that new initiative is going down the toilet, sometimes you just don't want to let it go. I'm going to work myself to death and try even harder and come up with even more brilliant ideas to make the damn thing work. As you said, is for me, it's not necessarily feeling a failure. It's more like not achieving what I set out to achieve. Okay. So it's not even admitting it's a failure. It's a bit like sort of saying, I'm not always right, but I'm never wrong. It's the same type of thing, right?
Right.
Okay.
Love that.
And I've had a lot of those sayings thrown at me in my childhood, and it just sort of makes me overly driven, not really
Mm-hmm.
knowing it. It's been manifesting itself over 30 or the 40 years that I've been working. It's taken me 40 years to realize that. And somebody had to tell me. How stupid is that? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So when it goes back to, you mentioned I wrote a book, and yeah, one of the key words in the book is balance, not work-life balance, okay, or life-work balance. That
Mm-hmm.
in itself is a big discussion, but it's just balance. Okay.
Yes.
What is
Mm-hmm.
your balance in life? I coach people, I coach achievers, high achievers,
Mm-hmm.
hyperachievers. And apart from the achievement element that is common amongst all of them, is the fact of what some of them feel.
Yes. It's all about
And
the
it's usually
feelings.
not a
Yeah. The
lot.
emotions.
It's
Yeah.
not a lot.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. So, hey, you just closed another deal and it's another however many digits it is. It's a big one. And it's whatever. What's the next one? It's okay, I climbed that mountain. What's
That's
the
right.
next one?
Yeah.
It's not failing to pause and even look at how far you've come or how high you've climbed or what you've
Mm-hmm.
achieved, or even give yourself or somebody a pat on the back. It's no, just move on. We've got to press harder. Can't
Right.
stop.
So, Rick, let me ask you this. As you're talking about that, what's going through my mind, let me go back to a word that's really near and dear to us here at Deep Wealth. You use We have a
Mm,
few F words here at Deep Wealth.
mm,
One F word is fun.
mm,
The other F
mm,
word is fulfillment. And so you mentioned
mm,
fulfillment. And at Deep
mm,
Wealth, we have this saying:
mm,
all the success, all the accolades, all the zeros in the
mm,
bank mean absolutely nothing if you're not having a sense of fulfillment. So, in other words,
mhm.
success without fulfillment is failure. And I talk from experience
Absolutely.
about that. After my 9-figure exit, I had all the zeros in the bank. I had a huge success. I had some time on my hands. I didn't plan for the post exit life. That's why we've now built that
Mm,
into the
mm,
90-day Deep Wealth Mastery system to help you find your happily ever after. I was miserable
mm,
when I shouldn't have been, and I didn't have that fulfillment.
mm.
But that's Jeffrey's version of fulfillment. What's Rick's version of fulfillment for you, for your community, and for the listener?
My tipping point, turning point, epiphany,
Mm-hmm.
slap in the face, kick in the gut, whatever you want to call it, came during COVID. I have long COVID and I've had that now for 2 years. It took that event to change my outlook,
Mm-hmm.
right? I went from getting up, going for a 5 or 10K run
Mm-hmm.
to out of breath walking up the one flight of stairs, even
Mm-hmm.
today. Doctors say there's absolutely nothing wrong with me. So why can't I walk up without getting out of breath?
Mm-hmm.
This is ridiculous. So mentally, it does not compute and it still doesn't compute. Brain fog and all of that. Long story short, what does that translate to? You can't work hard anymore. Hard doesn't work because you can't. You can't
Mm-hmm.
think. You can't decide. You just want to roll over and carry on sleeping. Forget those. Yeah, I can survive on 3, 4, 5 hours and whatever, being complete workaholism, 80, 100-hour weeks, which I've been doing in my entire life. Like, why am I doing that? I can't even physically do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So who am I? Worth am I if the work hard mantra has just been thrown away? I can't do it. And it's not a matter of willpower. The body's just not going to do it anymore. And then if I can't do that, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
So when it goes back to the fulfillment, is my life has a limited meaning. So I said my life purpose was to inspire and transform each of us for consistently higher fulfillment. I only changed that last word within the last month.
Interesting.
It used to be achievement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've known it's the wrong word for a year or so, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still only just dawned that I need to change that word. And it's the fulfillment. And I found it. I'm very lucky I found it. Okay. And I can tell you, it is not being a workaholic. It is not being a workaholic. So what gives me fulfillment? I feel fulfilled when I can help others reach fulfillment. That's for
Mm-hmm.
sure. That's a
Mm-hmm.
huge feel-good factor and feels that I have meaning in what I do and what I can do. I'm not putting these 40 years of work in whatever to waste. I've learned stuff. So I want to pass that on. And if it can help other people, wonderful, lovely. But so apart from that, is that it? No, I learned that my career isn't everything. Okay. It used to be, but it isn't. There are other things. The price that I paid was silly. So
Mm-hmm.
it's all about relationships. It's actually about family. I have a wife, I have 2 kids. They should be priority number one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Spending time with them. I love nature. I actually love nature.
Mm-hmm.
The lockdown, because here in Vietnam, we were physically locked down, couldn't leave the apartment type of thing, need a permit to go to the damn supermarket. It's literally when I eventually could get out, I want to go and hug a tree.
Sure.
In a 2-year period, I don't think I went further than 10 kilometers from where I'm standing now. And prior to the pandemic, I'd be on a plane every month. I didn't fly for 2 years. It's crazy stuff. So reevaluated, rethought everything. And then when I got through that 2 years and then I got COVID, go figure, and that floored me. And I realized in building myself back to health, it was walking in the mountains, walking in fresh air, jumping on a e-mountain bike and going up an Alp or something, just being away from people and just being in nature. It's just so, you'd call it forest bathing, the
Mm-hmm.
Japanese one. And oh, I've missed this. I've missed
Yeah.
this. And
Yeah.
it doesn't help that I live in a city of 10 million people. But yeah, so fulfillment to me
Mm-hmm.
is being able to help people,
Mm-hmm.
help them find their fulfillment, help them out of the malaise or the maze that they are stuck in, if I can
Mm-hmm.
help them get clarity on where to go and what their purpose is,
Mm-hmm.
that gives me, that's just type of legacy that I want to leave behind. And there's some formulas in the book as well. But for myself, apart from that, seeing other people become successful, help them be successful, maybe in a more balanced way.
And so, Rick, let me ask you, as you're going through this, is actually a perfect segue. And I love how you've taken your mission. Fulfillment for you is helping other people. And
Mm,
when you think about it, at least for me, that's the hard way of being an entrepreneur is how can we find a really
mm,
painful problem affecting a large number of people? It's so
mm,
painful
mm,
that they're only too happy to have us take that pain away and even pay us to do that and help enough
mm,
people get what they want. Eventually, we get what we want. Now, for our listeners in
mm,
the show notes, there is a link to Rick's book, Business as Unusual:
mm,
How to Thrive in the New Renaissance. And so, Rick, in coming about with this book, and it sounds like a lot of it was looking at what COVID did post
mm,
pandemic, not pre pandemic or
mm,
during the pandemic, that there's still some issues going on out there. So, what was it, that burning desire to write a book, which is not an
mm,
easy thing to do? Why did you
mm.
do that? What's the problem you're looking to address that you found more people than really should are going through some of these issues?
It was during COVID, and as things were locked down tighter and tighter and tighter, and
Mm-hmm.
people got more and more restricted. And as I said, business slowed down, and then businesses physically closed and then went bankrupt, and
Mm-hmm.
people started losing their jobs. With all the groups that I was in, other business leaders and things, a lot of people were lost. Okay. There's no playbook for this. There
Mm-hmm.
definitely was no playbook for this. Corporate couldn't help. And people say, oh, we'll get over this. This will be over soon. We'll get back to normal. We'll get back to business as usual. And it's as if this was just going to be a period of time, and then
Mm-hmm.
everything will go back to the way it was. And
Mm-hmm.
this I found so annoying. I said, it can't go back to the way it was. No way. And it's just going to continue being unusual. That's where the business as unusual came from.
Mm.
And what I could see was denial in a lot of people. Businesses were just going under, and they thought, oh, no, it'll be okay next month, type of thing, as they're having to let go more and more people. And the problems were getting worse and worse. And I was just really concerned more than anything else that
Mm-hmm.
people are running away from all this unusual stuff, sticking their head in the sand and just hoping it's all going to go away. And like, where was the help? Where was the help? So that really triggered that I'm going to write about this because I think I can fix this. I think I can provide a bit of a roadmap to help people get clarity. And during that time, I was being approached, I was coaching some people as well who they'd lost their job. They've been in the whatever hospitality industry, okay, and they've been let go and they've been there for however many decades, and they weren't going to go back because there weren't any hotels open. They're all more and more going out of business. What am I going to do? What can I do? And so they're really questioning their identity and what they can do and their worth. So it's like their self-confidence, self-efficacy, their self-worth, it's all gone down the toilet. That's horrible. It really is horrible. So how can we build those people up? How can we get them to believe in themselves again? They're not a failure. It's just life happens and it hasn't been very favorable to us, hasn't been favorable to the world, but we've got to get up and get on with it. And if we have to find a new path, if that way is blocked, we've got to find a new path. So it's really trying to help. I wanted to help people find that new path. They have value. I believe in them.
Sure. And so, Rick, I'm curious, when you're out there giving your TED Talks, you're doing your coaching, you're speaking to successful executives and entrepreneurs. As we record this podcast today, what have you seen post COVID that is just standing out to you of, hey, you know what? This really isn't business as usual. It's business as unusual because of
Mm.
A, B, C, and D.
I did a poll, and one of the
Mm-hmm.
polls I did is I thought, I know I'm going to do a poll around sustainability, which a lot of people, will tie, ESG is very much interchangeable with sustainability. Okay, I see it slightly differently. And I was just trying to find out what's the most important to them around this. What people need to do? And it came out overwhelmingly, people expect their
Mm-hmm.
companies to look after their health and wellness. Okay.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
So before it was, okay, you work for a company, you get a salary and you want a career path and all of that. So when it came to sustainability, it wasn't anything green. It wasn't being carbon neutral or plant a tree. It was, no, look after me because you need to look after me now. I think this is one of the pressures that I think companies are being faced with. So when we look at business as unusual, I think the way companies need to be run has changed. And I'll go into that more in a minute. But the meaning of the company, the purpose of the company has to change because the cultures have to change and the cultures have to look after the people. They really do. It's whether the business owner wants it or not, or likes it or not, that's what the people want. And most companies are run by people. So it is business as unusual. But the other thing that's changed, there are two other aspects of change. That business as unusual is like that leadership, ownership, business owner perspective. There are two other perspectives because this is the first of a trilogy. The other thing that's changed is work. It's work as unusual. Work is now forever hybrid. Okay, we've seen the flip-flop, should be in the office, shouldn't be in the office or whatever. The end result is we're hybrid, whether you like it or not. Okay. And for those people who want hybrid and are in a only work from office environment, well, say bye-bye to them soon because they're going to walk. It's going to happen. So the whole way of work has changed. So as employees, you want to work differently. Well, guess what? If you're managing those people and you're an employee yourself, you're managing, the way you manage has to change. Because managing a hybrid team or a completely remote team is very different from having them in the same building. That's a whole load of other learning to do. And then the third part is life has changed. It's life is unusual. You use right at the beginning, you frame things, it's a matter of balance. This is more important now, I think, to most people than anything else. They've experienced being locked down. They've experienced having things taken away. And so they've missed certain things, but they've also learned other things that they like. So when things go back to as they are now, which is unusual, it's not business as usual, what they want is different. So what people want in their life is different. And if they've had time to reflect on what is their purpose, what is their meaning, what do they really want to do, they've job hopped a bit to try and find what they want, they're still maybe trying to find themselves, or they found what they want. So the whole approach to business is now unusual, work is unusual, and life is unusual. The goalposts really have moved, or they've been thrown away somewhere. It's very, very different. And so the trends that I've seen is how companies are dealing with this. Okay. What perspective are they coming from? How fast are they really embracing this? Are some in still denial? And what's that doing to their workforce? What is it doing to their culture? Because the cultures are changing. These are the trends that I'm seeing of what's changing. It's still happening. It's not over yet. Because I think it's constantly evolving, constantly transformational. And then on top of that, just to throw a real curveball in, we have this thing called generative AI, which is just a bit more of digital transformation that's going to push things, nudge things a little bit more.
And as you're painting all of this, Rick, you're asking some terrific questions for us as the listeners, those in the Deep Wealth Nation to consider. I want to take you and the listener back to a quote in your book, right at the very beginning, actually.
Okay.
And you say, every big castle was once started with a single block. Despise no small beginnings. A little step taken every day builds up the hope of greater accomplishments. Do something every day. And you gave the attribution of where that came from.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you think about that, because I'm wondering, and again, you can say, Jeffrey, on base, off base, with what you're talking about now, and people are expecting their companies to look after their health and look after their well-being, just as once upon a time, people look to the government or the country to do the same thing. And particularly post-COVID, not to go down all these conspiracy theories and that whole rabbit hole. What has come out, though, is that it's fair to say, generally speaking, the public health was not being looked after by many of the authorities. In fact, it could have been the opposite. And so with that in mind, I like the castle metaphor that you're giving, because when you look at a castle in its totality, it's huge. This thing is massive and it's everywhere, but it had to start somewhere. And much like you talk about in your book, and you give very definable strategies to follow day over day, week over week, month over month, do something different every day to begin to get that fulfillment in your life. So, at the risk of asking what may be seen
Mm,
as an unfair question, because you can say, well, Jeffrey, look, every person is different, every
mm,
journey is unique.
mm,
But generally
mm,
speaking, and maybe it's like asking you to pick your favorite child, if you look
mm,
at the different chapters, to the different strategies that you put out there, is
mm.
there one that you find resonates more than the others for more people? Is there one that jumps out for you that's been really helpful? And if it is, what would that be for our listeners?
The Tower of the Mind. And there are a couple of aspects of that. One of them is this concept of Kaizen,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which is constant improvement. But my reframing of it, it's constant improvement of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's lifelong learning, learn something new every day. And it's also see if we can make processes better. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
bean counter. I'm a systems person. I like SOPs. I like standard operating procedures. I like that process. And the process is there is to make it easy for everyone else. I'm not looking for perfection. It's just some processes need updating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. AI has come in now. So maybe we need to update some processes because we can use AI to automate them. Okay. That would be just a logical improvement. So that's something that's very important to me. There's so much knowledge in the world. We can't know all of it, which
Mm-hmm.
means that we don't know very much. And to me, yeah, just learning more,
Mm-hmm.
finding out more about people, being on this podcast with you, with your listeners, seeing different perspectives. It's different to other podcasts I've been on whose focus is different. And that's
Mm-hmm.
very enriching. So it's being very open-minded and opening ourselves up to really experiencing things. So it goes back to the fulfillment. We need to live our life.
Mm-hmm.
We need to live it, feel it, enjoy it, try to enjoy it, get moments of joy, because you can't have permanent joy, permanent happiness. Life is tough. There are ups and downs, and sometimes it needs some of the downs, like COVID, to
Mm-hmm.
appreciate what you really missed.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure there are millions of people on this planet who during COVID, because of lockdowns, restrictions, can't fly in or out to certain countries,
Mm-hmm.
you might be separated from your family. All right. So, for example, during COVID, I was separated from my wife for 9 months.
My goodness.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, maybe some listeners are going, yes, but no, it wasn't a choice. That was tough. And then, so I think absence makes the heart grow fonder. All these things, all these restrictions really make you aware of what you missed. But then on top of that, since there's so much out there in this big blue planet that we're on, there's so much that we don't know. We haven't experienced. Let's go out there and
Mm-hmm.
experience it.
Sure. And so, as you're talking about that and the Tower of the Mind,
Mm,
and you're mentioning the
mm,
Kaizen, and I know
yeah.
in chapter 3, the Tower of the Mind, you talk about
Mm,
habits and how
mm,
you show up.
mm,
And I want to circle back to the mindset because as you're talking about that,
mm,
and really one of my takeaways, and you can say, Jeffrey, you're on base, Jeffrey, you're off base. When it comes to fulfillment, it's not so much about getting the goal. Like you said, as soon as I get
mm,
one goal, the
mm,
entrepreneurial mind, I'm already
mm,
fixated. I got to the
mm,
top of this mountain,
mm,
I'm going to the top
mm,
of the next one.
mm,
And I know for myself,
mm,
as an example, when I started at
mm,
Embanet, I fell into that. I don't want to call it a trap, but that way of thinking. Well, if I can only
mm,
get to 1,000 enrollments on the system, and we're nearing
mm,
1,000. Oh, did I say 1,000? I really meant 5,000. Did I say
yeah.
5,000? I really should have
Mm,
said 10,000, 100,000, into the
mm,
millions. And
mm,
it's never ending with that, as
mm,
opposed to really understanding. And I picked up on this right towards the end, thankfully, that it's not the attainment of the goal itself, it's the
mm.
journey, accepting
Absolutely.
the challenging times, what some people would call a so called failure, as much as
Mm,
a success. And it's really taking all of that in, knowing that oftentimes our success, our future success, it's there, it's waiting. We're just not ready for it. And we have to go through these trials, these tribulations to refine ourselves, much like a diamond only comes after
mm,
many years of pressure on it, very similar to us to get there. And so when you think of the Tower of the Mind, improving every day, how we're thinking about things, our mindset, our habits, what are your thoughts about what I'm saying? And particularly for the listener who, Rick, perhaps it's a new way of them to think, or they're hearing this for the first time and hearing about you and what you're
mm.
doing. What would you say to that listener?
My advice would be I like being the dumbest person in the room because I can learn so much from the other people in the room. It's just me. I'm curious. I really am curious.
Hmm.
And I think as humans, we are all curious. It got schooled out of us. For those of us who've had kids, they start talking and then they
Hmm.
ask us, why is this? Why is that? Why? And can fall into a bad habit of having that agitate us and trying to shut it down.
Hmm.
Okay. And then we learn not to ask why. And
Hmm.
then we learn in school to not interrupt. And we have these artificial barriers put around us, but that natural human curiosity was there in the first place.
Hmm.
And stupidly, well, I know, or intelligently, you could say, is that as you go into your career and you have a big company and you might even have the money to hire some consultants, highly paid
Hmm.
consultants, and then they introduce this brand new technique to you called the 5 whys. Wow.
Uh-huh.
And you
Yes.
go, why? It's like, God, they were really smart, but we knew that as kids. And
Hmm.
they sell that? Brilliant. Anyway, so no, that curiosity, going out of, if you're not feeling uncomfortable, then you're not growing. And you might not know what you're missing. Okay. And there's a lot of stuff out there. It's good stuff. It's nice. And if you don't read widely, how do you know whether you like it or you don't like it? It's a bit like saying, I'm not going to try that food, but you've never
Hmm.
tried it. Go try it. You might actually like it. So travel, maybe I'm spoiled. We have customers in 80 countries. I've traveled to about 40 of them. I've lived in many countries across the world. Right now, I'm speaking from Vietnam, but I've lived in Singapore. I've lived in the UK because that's where I was brought up. I've lived in Switzerland. I've lived around the place. So
Hmm.
maybe my outlook is a little bit different
Hmm.
because each time I've had to move, it's a different environment, it's a different
Hmm.
culture. And I adapt to it, I adjust to it, and I see it through their eyes, I experience it. And I find it's very enriching. It's
Hmm.
very enriching. What is for me?
Sure.
It is for me.
And Rick, let me ask
Okay.
you, from the UK, you're currently
Mm,
living in Vietnam, you travel the
mm,
world, you're working with all different types of people, different backgrounds, cultures, countries. When it comes to the entrepreneurial world, the leader, the founder, the business owner,
mm,
are there
mm.
certain, I'll call them similar kinds of challenges or similar kinds of strategies that can catapult us from where we are to even the next level, or things that keep us up at night? I know I'm all over the map here, but what would
Mm.
be some of the similarities that you're seeing,
Mm.
regardless of the country or the
Mm.
culture or where the person was born?
The similarity is there's no single entrepreneur who has all the answers. Okay. And the smarter ones, I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
are the ones who go out and say, I don't know how to do this. And they're smart enough to find people who do know how to do it. They get themselves into the right type of circles. I'm a strong believer of coaching. I'm a strong believer of masterminds. I'm a strong believer of very safe communities. I belong to lots of different business groups, which are very safe. We've all signed an NDA. We can say whatever we want and it doesn't go further than the room. And
Mm-hmm.
that's very helpful. So owners, business owners don't know all the answers. That's number
Mm-hmm.
one. Too few of them seek help. Okay. And literally all of them can feel how lonely it really is at the top
Mm-hmm.
because there's no one up there. In a normal hierarchy, you go speak to your boss, but you're the owner of the company. You can't go any higher. The buck stops with you. So who do you go to? Whose shoulder can you, well, not necessarily cry on, but who can you let it out on and share all these frustrations and have someone else actually understand them? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so if you can find yourself a nice business group where people can do that and share those confidentialities and they resonate with you. They have this similar frustrations. So the frustrations are common. We all get frustrated. There are challenges, and it doesn't matter what the challenge is. It could be a people challenge, it could be a succession challenge, it
Mm-hmm.
could be a product challenge, market challenge. Get enough a variety of entrepreneurs together, and they covered most of it. And there is so much to learn. What are their stories? How do they deal with it? Sharing those issues and having these different insights from people who with different experiences and from different industries, that really is invaluable. Okay. And maybe when I started out 30 years ago, I didn't quite get that. I thought I could
Sure.
do it all myself. I'll just outwork everybody. And if I didn't know it, just go and get a couple of books and bloody read about it. Yeah. Don't ask for help.
Rick, what's interesting about that as you talk about that, and perhaps it's more from the male perspective. I think women, generally
Mm,
speaking, are a lot better than this. I know myself
mm,
growing up as a young male and into a man, it was ingrained in me men don't ask for help. You've got to have the answers.
mm,
And asking for help, saying, hey, I don't get this. I don't know how to do this. I actually
mm,
need some help. It's viewed as a sign of weakness.
mm,
And the irony with that, and again, you can say, Jeffrey, on base or off base, I found when I began to ask for help, when I began to open up and say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable. It actually feels scary to me, this next step. I don't know what to
mm,
do. Can you help? That's really where, number one, we get to see who are the true friends in our circles, not the ones that
mm,
say they are because they're there for the ride or
mm,
what we bring to it, but the ones that are
mm,
there for the good times and the challenging times. But when we open
mm,
ourselves up, we become more relatable to people. Oh, Rick is feeling that way. Wow, that guy's so successful. I never
mm,
in a million years would have thought he felt the way. I can relate to him.
mm,
I like him now because I
mm,
see he's not perfect and he has some challenges. The human condition, for better or for worse, it is what it is. But I like how you're
mm,
saying be vulnerable, ask for help,
mm.
get other people's
Absolutely.
input along the way. And the other thing that you shared, which really resonates here for myself and in Deep Wealth, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. And I would add to that, Rick, many sayings, the birds of a feather flock together, or you're the average
Mm,
of the five people that you spend the most amount of
yeah.
time with. If we're in
Mm,
a group of people where they don't have the same values, I'm even going to say they have values that go against the grain,
mm,
get them into trouble, negative thinking, holding people back from achieving the true levels of success is probably not a group. Actually, take out the probably. It is not a group you want to
mm,
be in, and you want
mm.
to change up friends.
No.
You don't have to be rude about it, but you want to change up friends,
Mm.
change up your social circles to be around success and positive thinking. What are your thoughts about that?
I think the lesson that we need to learn quicker is to let go of things. You were talking about that earlier on not giving up, not willing to admit it failed or we're a failure. And
Mm-hmm.
so we get out too late or stop something too late. It's a matter of letting go or not being
Sure.
able to let go. So just like we need to let go of that business or that startup or whatever it is that we started that really doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Financially, it makes no sense
Mm-hmm.
and it's draining us. Okay, keeping us up at night. So we've got to let go of that.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got to let go of some people around us. So
Mm-hmm.
as you said before, is yeah, you find out who your real friends are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, if you want business advice, do you really want to ask your friends? Okay. So what I learned when I got long COVID
Mm-hmm.
and I realized I couldn't actually run my company or
Mm-hmm.
companies anymore, I put my hand up and I said, I really need help. And it's like the first time in my life that I actually did that. And
Sure.
as you said, boy, that was scary. However,
Yes.
what I did find is despite I had been coaching for a while, I got myself a bunch of coaches
Mm-hmm.
and they really helped my transformation. It's a transformation. They didn't fix me.
Mm-hmm.
Rick, you were stupid if you went to a coach and expected to be fixed. You're going to fix yourself, which means you're
Mm-hmm.
going to change yourself. You're going to change your outlook. You're going to let stuff go that is not serving you properly. So it's old thoughts, old habits, old beliefs. You've got to
Mm-hmm.
let them go.
Yeah.
All right. Workaholism. I believe you've got to work 80, 100 hours a week. I've got to be working 7 days a week, every hour that is available. I've got to let that go. It doesn't serve me anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
If those people are negatives, naysayers, and they're really not the energy vampires, they're draining. I'm feeling
Yes.
drained when I'm around them. Distance yourself, walk
Mm-hmm.
away from them because it's not a matter of, I don't want to upset them. It's like, why are you beating yourself up? You're the one suffering, right?
Mm.
And so the thing that we have to learn as an entrepreneur is we have to look after ourselves
Yes.
first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that balance word comes back in again. Now, in my book, I call it the Tower of Life Force. It's like that
Mm-hmm.
spark in you, the spark of
Yes.
life. But I translate it into what I call the herbs. You look
Mm-hmm.
after the H, your health, your energy, your rest, your balance, and your stress, because we need all of them. Okay, we need our health. So I've always been super healthy, never a sick day in my life type of thing. And then all of a sudden I'm as sick as a dog and I can't do anything. Ooh, I've never looked at that before. I better do something about that. And unless I can deal with that, I can't do anything else. If you haven't got the health, you really can't do anything. Okay. Energy is the other one. Burning the candles at both ends and all of that. What a lot of people and some of my doctors have told me is, well, Rick, you spent 40 years working like a maniac. It's payback time. Your body's saying, I want payback. So you only have a certain amount of energy. And when I started the company, I was young, 30 years younger. We had lots of young people in the company. Well, guess what? We're a bit older now. I'm a baby boomer. I have some other baby boomers in the organization. And hey, they're looking at retirement.
Absolutely.
Their energy is not the same. Okay, the rest. It's not just sleep, which is something that many entrepreneurs maybe starve themselves of. It's crazy. Don't do that. You're chopping years off your life. And if you're not well rested, how can you make good decisions? So it's that balance. It's not work-life balance or life-work balance. It's balance any way that you look at it. So it's maybe balancing achieving things, running your company or companies, as well as, well, where's the fulfillment? Is the fulfillment really in running a successful company? Or is it quality time with your wife or your partner or your kids or your parents or your friends or whatever your hobby is, going for a walk? It's what gives you that joy, what puts that smile on your face. Is it really signing another deal or doing another 12-hour day? Or is it, going for a walk with someone close to you, whoever it is, and just capturing those moments, that
That's
smile,
interesting.
that
Yeah.
joke.
Rick, as we're talking, it seems we're all over the map. We're really not. There is a method to the madness. From the tower of life force with the herbs, and you're talking about the health, energy, rest, balance, and stress. The tower of the mind, we spoke about habits and really mindset. From the tower of the self, the dungeon, the great hall. We're talking about community, the people we're surrounding ourselves with, what we're feeding ourselves emotionally, mentally, all those kinds of things. It's really what I like with what you're doing. You're tackling something head on as a system, if I could use the word holistic system, as opposed to so many times out there, it's really in silos. Well, do this. Okay, if I do this one silo, what about the other nine silos that are interconnected? And I like how you're taking it really as one entire system with fulfillment, big picture wise, what we're going to get at. And if we can get that right, our health is right. And as we should know, but often forget, our health is our first wealth. Everything else is a very distant second. And how many times have I spoken to people who have many zeros in the bank account, what they would give to get back to health? All the money, all the zeros they would give, but can't be done. Not possible. That door sadly has closed for them. So I really like how you're bringing all that together. Many rabbit holes we can go down. We're starting to bump up against some time. Let me ask you this before we go into wrap up mode. Is there a question I haven't asked, or a topic we haven't discussed, or even a message that you would like to get out to Deep Wealth Nation of what you want them to walk away with from this episode?
I think I want everybody to remember, just leave this passing thought, okay? We're not just a participant in this world that we live in. We need to be an architect. That's why it's a castle. In the book, I have buildings in the castle, but it's your castle. You're the architect. It can be any shape or form that you want. Laying that brick each day, you can lay the brick in your tower of mind or your life purpose or your life force or anywhere. It's your castle. You can do what you want with it. Okay. And you don't have to do it in a certain way. You do it the way that you want. It is your castle. So you need to be that architect shaping your castle, which is the course of your life, your career, and also the world around you, because we each impact the people around us. So I really encourage everyone to embrace change, okay? But define it. Don't just adapt and react to it. Shape it, okay? Shape that castle, architect it the way that you want. Be the catalyst in this unusual world that we live in. And the transformation, it starts with you, with each one of us. Okay. And I'm open to, if people want to reach out to me, reach out to me.
Absolutely. We'll have all that in
And
emails.
I want to hear
Yes.
about their journeys. I want to hear
Yes.
about their journeys. Really.
Interesting. Okay, as you're talking about that, building the castle, and really what we should be thinking about coming out of this episode is actually a perfect segue into the wrap up mode. And it's a tradition here on the Deep Wealth Podcast. It's my privilege, it's an honor.
Mhm.
For each guest, I have the privilege and honor of asking the same question, which I'm going to do right now. It's a fun question. I'm going to set this up for you. So, when you think of the movie Back to the Future, you have that incredible
Mm.
DeLorean car that can take you to any point in time. So, Rick, the fun part is tomorrow morning, you open your window. Lo and behold, not only is the DeLorean car curbside, the door is open, it's waiting for you to hop on in, what you do. And you're now going to go to any point in your life. Rick, as a young child, a teenager, whatever point in time it would be, Rick, what are you telling your younger self in terms of life lesson or life wisdom? Or, hey, Rick, do this, but don't do that. What would that sound like?
Ooh, that is a good question. Ooh, wow. To be honest, I don't think I would want to go to the past because I am who I am, and all that past, all the good, all the bad, all the right things, all the wrong things
Mm-hmm.
have made me who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it's given me clarity
Mm-hmm.
of what I need to do from now until the end of my days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't think if I went back in time and I said, all right, don't do that because that's a mistake. I don't know. I wouldn't be here today doing what I'm doing. And I wouldn't necessarily be any better or worse off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful for where I've been, where I've come from, what I've learned, what I've succeeded in, what I've failed in, the people I've helped, the people I've failed. It is as it is. I can't change any of that. If anything, I could do anything in the car, I would like to fast forward to the end of my days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I could see whether I have really led a fulfilling life. Because at the end of the day, one of the exercises one does,
Mm-hmm.
apparently, I do, is write your own eulogy of how you want people to talk about you. What are they saying? What are they feeling? All right. And if you passed today, what were they saying? What would they be feeling about you? And if there's anything on there that you do not like and you want to change, you still have time. Go change it. So this is all linked to life purpose, your life goals, and where do you want to end to be? So again, it's a bit like my castle. Where I want it to be. It's not that at the moment. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still building it brick by brick. There's a way to go, but at least I have an intent of where I want to go. Okay. And that's the clarity that I have. So there's some relationships that I know I need to work on. There may be some regrets that I know I need to fix. There are some bridges that I might have broken or burnt that I'm rebuilding. Okay. They are important to me. And yes, I know I'm that achiever, but I'm not going to kill myself doing it. But my intent is to fix those things
Mm-hmm.
because it's a giving to help the other person. Okay. And that's important to me.
Interesting. It's really what I'm hearing. You can say, Jeff, you're on base, off base. Enjoy the
Mm.
journey for starters. And while you're enjoying the
Absolutely.
journey, live your life in a way that brings you fulfillment, not just for today, but for years to come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, you're on point there. There is no destination, is a journey. It's like a roller coaster, right? It's like a never ending roller coaster. Whether you like them or not, it is. There are ups and there are downs. Enjoy it. Stop from time to time and smell the roses. Take it
Exactly.
all in. Grab those moments of quiet or however you like to grab them. What are those little things that give you those moments of joy or pleasure? For the coffee drinkers out there, maybe it's that aroma of that first cup of coffee and that first sip in the quiet of your quiet space
Mm-hmm.
before you go into the mad rush of the real world. Yeah. It doesn't really matter what it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we all know what it is. We want more of those. So embrace them. Life is short. It can be cut short as well. So don't put off things because you think there's time.
Yeah, great parting words, great advice. And Rick, we'll have all this in the show notes for our listeners. It'll be a point and click. If someone does have a question, perhaps they want to have you as their coach, or they want to bring you in to talk to their organization, or just ask a question, where's the best place online someone can find you?
The best place to find me online is on LinkedIn.
Okay.
All right. And my LinkedIn is my name, Rick Yvanovich. And as long as you know how to spell it, if you Googled it, there is only one on the planet, and that's me. It's unique, which is a bit unusual, really.
Fair enough. So we'll have all that in the show notes. It'll be a point and click. Well, Rick, it's official. This is a wrap. Congratulations. And as we love to say here at Deep Wealth, may you continue to thrive and prosper while you remain healthy and safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Yeah, I'd like to express my gratitude for you for having me on your podcast today and allowing me to say stuff that your listeners are listening to. It's been a fun conversation. It really has. It's been fascinating. It's been fun. So you really have put that F in there, which is great. I hope your listeners has enjoyed it as much as I have. I really appreciate all your listeners for your time and attention. I look forward to hearing from some of you, learning from your stories, your journeys, and perhaps sharing more in-depth future discussions. So thank you again, Jeffrey, and to all listeners for this wonderful exchange. Until next time, continue building your castles.
So there you have it, Deep Wealth Nation. What did you think? So with all that said, and as we wrap it up, I have another question for you. Actually, it's more of a personal favor. Did you find this episode helpful? Have you found other episodes of the Deep Wealth Podcast empowering and a game changer for your journey? And if you said yes, and I really hope you did, I have a small but really meaningful way that you can actually help us out and keep these episodes coming to you. Are you ready for it? The dramatic pause. I'll just wait a moment. Drum roll, please. Subscribe. Please subscribe to the Deep Wealth Podcast on your favorite podcast channel. When you subscribe to the Deep Wealth Podcast, you're saving yourself time. Every episode automatically comes to you. And I want you to know that we meticulously craft every one of our episodes to have impactful strategies, stories, expert insights that are designed to help you grow your profits, increase the value of your business, and yes, even optimize your post-exit life and your life right now, whatever you want that to look like. And every time you subscribe and a fellow entrepreneur subscribes, it's a testament to how together, yes, we are changing the social fabric of society. One business owner at a time, one liquidity event at a time. So don't let the momentum stop here. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast channel. You'll never miss an episode. You'll be the first to hear from the top industry leaders, the innovators, the disruptors that are really changing and shaping the business world. And maybe you're commuting, maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're taking a well-deserved break that we spoke all about on this episode. The Deep Wealth Podcast, it's your reliable source for the next big idea that could literally revolutionize your business. So once again, please hit that subscribe button, stay connected, inspired, and ahead of the curve. And again, your next big breakthrough moment, it might just be one episode away. Maybe it was even this episode. So all that said, thank you so much for listening. And remember, your wealth isn't just about the money in the bank. It's about the depth of your journey and the impact that you're creating. So let's continue this journey together. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for listening to this episode. And as we love to say here at Deep Wealth, may you continue to thrive and prosper while you remain healthy and safe. Thank you so much. God bless.